So 2025 has been an embarrassment of riches where video games of all shapes and sizes are concerned, and that certainly includes big-budget AAA blockbusters. Better still, it sure doesn't look like the industry will be letting up anytime soon if these fantastic-looking incoming tentpoles are any indication. So let's have a chat about them. As I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are the 10 best upcoming AAA games you need to wishlist. Number 10. Resident Evil Requiem. Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9, is a standalone sequel in the survival horror franchise which introduces a new protagonist, FBI agent Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of reporter Alyssa Ashcroft, who is a playable character in the Resident Evil Outbreak games. Now, Grace is dispatched to Raccoon City to investigate a series of shady deaths at the spooky Wrenwood Hotel where her mother died 8 years earlier, and it's easy to imagine where things might go from there. In a major change-up for the series, though, Requiem will allow players to switch between first and third-person perspectives throughout the game, the latter said to be ideal for more action-minded players. However, Grace is no seasoned hero in the vein of Leon Kennedy or Jill Valentine. She'll spend much of the game attempting to escape a monstrous new stalker character, and stealth and distraction are definitely going to be the order of the day. There's still so much up in the air about Requiem, namely whether we'll actually get to see any legacy Resident Evil characters, but to finally return to the post-apocalyptic remnants of Raccoon City is more than enough to make this a must-play for most long-time fans. And there's not that much time to wait at all, because Resident Evil Requiem releases on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch 2 on February the 27th, 2026. Number 9. Fable. The much-loved action RPG franchise Fable hasn't released a mainline entry since 2010's Fable 3, and this upcoming reboot has reportedly been in development for around a decade. And it sure looks fantastic, at least, with Forza Horizon developers Playground Games leading this reimagining of the IP, which seeks to retain the series' distinctive style and tone while also giving its gameplay a welcome update. Now, from what we've seen so far, it's clear that Microsoft is positioning Fable as an extremely high-end AAA RPG with cutting-edge production values, as well as name acting talent with comedians Richard Ayoade and Matt King playing a villain and sidekick character respectively. Easy though it is to be skeptical of Xbox's place in the gaming sphere right now, Fable just might be a much-needed feather in the cap for them if it can recapture the series' prior glory while moving things forward for a new generation of fans.
Hey guys, I just gotta have a quick word with you about today's video sponsor. It's us, FGS. Subscribe to our channel. There's no sponsorships going on here at the moment, so why not just take the time out your day to subscribe to our channel, help us out. See you later.
Number 8. 007 First Light. And believe it or not, the last James Bond video game was 007 Legends that came out in 2012, which was so thoroughly panned that Activision had their license to the IP, not their license to kill, just so that we're clear on that one, revoked. Although they definitely shouldn't have a license to kill either. But 007 First Light looks like it could be one of the best Bond games ever. A new origin story for the super spy that exists within its own self-contained continuity, while also drawing influence from Ian Fleming's novels and short stories. Dexter Original Sin star Patrick Gibson will play a mid-20s 007 as he tackles the mission to earn his license to kill, while development is also being undertaken by Hitman's IO Interactive. Everything that we've seen so far seems to suggest that First Light is going to be an ultra-cinematic blockbuster thrill ride worthy of its big screen counterparts, even though IO have vowed to deliver a deeper, more sophisticated espionage experience far away from a generic shooting gallery. That is to say that Bond will have to rely on his wiles and some nifty gadgets rather than a hench bench of weaponry, while also being a greener, less assured iteration of his future legend. IO is unsurprisingly positioning First Light as the mere launch of a trilogy, and if this plays as good as it looks, then they might just have one of the biggest AAA hits of the year on their hands here. If nothing else, it will distract us a little while longer from the interminable wait of the next Bond film. Number 7. Pragmata. Pragmata is Capcom's first new AAA IP since Dragon's Dogma launched all the way back in 2012, and it sure looks like it's going to be a bloomin' good one. This tense sci-fi actioner follows Hugh, an astronaut who ends up stranded in a lunar research station and must join forces with an android girl to fend off hostile AI forces and return home. Now, at first glance, it may look like another typical dad game, but Pragmata has one fascinating gameplay hook, and that is that you'll control both characters at the same time. Because Hugh's array of projectile-based weapons can't penetrate robotic armor alone, he has to rely on his new android pal to hack the robot's defenses that reveal their weak points, and so players will need to engage robots in combat while also simultaneously partaking in hacking puzzles and evading incoming attacks. It sounds exhausting, but also totally fresh for the genre, which makes sense given that the game has been the brainchild of younger Capcom development staff. If the uniqueness of its gameplay can be matched by an engaging story, do not be shocked if Pragmata turns out to be one of 2026's big sleeper hits. Number 6. Gears of War E-Day. Another Xbox franchise that spent way too long on the bench now, let's talk about Gears of War. Gears of War E-Day is the third-person shooter's first entry in 7 years, and will serve as a prequel set 14 years before the events of the original game. E-Day will focus on best buds Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago fighting to survive the fateful Emergence Day, when the Locust Horde emerged from beneath the planet of Serra and wiped out roughly 25% of the human population. It will certainly be a delight to see Marcus and his late pal Dom broing it up again, and after Gears 5's somewhat divisively introduced open-world elements, E-Day is refreshingly said to be a more linear, contained experience. While prequels often struggle to justify their own existence or arrive with a bit of a flat whiff of desperation, in this case it makes a whole lot of sense. Fans are eager to see more of Marcus and Dom together, and E-Day is such a fascinatingly mythical event in the series' lore that it would basically be daft not to set a game here. Though some might argue that Gears overexposed itself by releasing 6 main entries in barely a decade, absence has certainly made the heart grow fonder here. Number 5. Crimson Desert. Now, Crimson Desert was originally intended to be a prequel to the hugely popular MMORPG Black Desert Online, but during development, Pearl Abyss decided to rework it into a purely single-player game set within the same universe. And while the AAA open-world RPG space is pretty bloody busy, Crimson Desert definitely stands apart from the rest because of its mouth-wateringly gorgeous world to its sheer mind-boggling array of things to do. Players will take control of Cliff, a mercenary who fights to reclaim his lost homeland, all the while dealing with a troubled past. Is there any other kind, right? As standard as that might sound though, Pearl Abyss has done the hard sell on the land you'll explore, because it's a massive, seamless open world which the developer will not hold your hand to explore. Combat, meanwhile, looks pretty bloomin' deep and even incorporates pro wrestling moves, because why the hell not? And if that's not enough, you can even pilot a damn mech. And this is really just scratching the surface of everything on offer here. You can also ride horses and dragons to give your feet a rest, wrangle sheep, forage mushrooms, pilot a hot air balloon, go pole vaulting, and also employ telekinetic abilities. It's a game that almost seems too good to be true. The level of ambition is mind-boggling even for AAA standards, and yet, if it delivers on even a fraction of its promises, it could very well be a part of next year's Game of the Year conversation. Number 4. Forza Horizon 6. There's a strong argument to be made that Forza Horizon is the most reliably fun racing game franchise that's actually consistently putting out a new entry every few years, and so Forza Horizon 6 cannot come soon enough, with Playground Games taking the open-world arcade racer to the very setting that fans have been requesting for years, Japan. Rather than painstakingly recreate the nation in-game, Playground have instead created a shrunk-down travelogue of some of Japan's most iconic and beautiful sights, venturing from Tokyo to Hokkaido, and of course, Mount Fuji, among others yet to be announced. It goes without saying that Japan's geographical diversity makes it a snug fit for Horizon's do-what-you-like open-world smorgasbord, and considering how ludicrously entertaining the Forza Horizon series has been year on year, why expect any different this time around? Number 3. Onimusha Way of the Sword. After 20 full years on the shelf, Capcom's beloved samurai action franchise Onimusha is finally back with a full-fat AAA experience. Onimusha Way of the Sword will follow a new samurai protagonist, Miyamoto Musashi, as he explores a dark fantasy version of Kyoto during the Edo period, where he'll cross paths with both rival swordsmen and demonic entities alike. Now, it goes without saying that the action genre has changed significantly since the release of the last mainline Onimusha game, and while some might assume Way of the Sword to arrive in a mold of a Souls-like, that isn't quite the case here. Capcom has already confirmed that this quasi-reboot will be less punishing and more approachable than your average From Software title, and for anyone tired of endlessly overlong AAA slogs, it's said to be a largely linear game with select open areas. And as a fun treat for fans of classical samurai films, protagonist Miyamoto has been modelled after the late great movie star Toshihiro Mifune, best known for his many collaborations with legendary Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. Onimusha has been on ice for way too damn long, and so it's sure great to see it back to what appears to be its former glory. Number 2. Marvel's Wolverine. In the AAA superhero stakes, there's no game more anticipated than Wolverine, a cinematic action-adventure romp from Insomniac Games in the same vein as their glorious Spider-Man titles. This outing, which takes place in the same universe as the Spidey games, has one big difference though. It's ditching the more family-friendly tone of Insomniac's prior superhero fare for an adults-only gore fest. From the little gameplay that we've seen so far, it's clear that Wolverine will let players spill a ton of the red stuff while controlling Wolverine and his claws, administering brutal dismemberments in the heat heat of battle. And we still don't know much about the story, but we do know that Mystique and Omega Red will be featured, and Wolverine himself is going to be portrayed by another Aussie following in Hugh Jackman's footsteps, the great Liam McIntyre. Wolverine is said to be the first in a new trilogy of games centered around the X-Men, and if it's even a fraction as good as Insomniac's prior work in the genre, it seems set to be an absolute heater. And number 1, Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, let's be real, was anything else ever going to take the number 1 spot? Quite unarguably, the single most anticipated upcoming video game, Grand Theft Auto 6, is the 13 years in the making latest installment in Rockstar's almost inexplicably popular open-world action franchise, and hoo boy, it looks set to be a generational banger. GTA 6 will take place in the Florida-inspired state of Leonida, with a particular emphasis on the very best of all GTA locales that we visited so far, Vice City. The bevy of obvious Florida man jokes will give Rockstar a whole ton of easy satirical fodder, but the marketing so far suggests that Rockstar has once again built a breathtakingly immersive open world within which players can just lose themselves for untold hours. Players will take control of dual protagonists, criminal lovers Jason and Lucia, in what's very clearly a Bonnie and Clyde spiced romp for the social media era. Though we don't know all that much about the game, it's difficult to picture a situation where Rockstar's meticulous approach to development doesn't result in one of the most technically jaw-dropping and downright addictive AAA games of the entire generation. And there we go, my friends, those were the top 10 best upcoming AAA games that you need to wishlist. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Instagram and Blue Sky, where I'm at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there, my friends, and hope you're treating yourself well with the love and respect you bloody well deserve. I'll speak to you in a bit. Bye.